The moment I found out, everything changed. I was standing in our small farmhouse kitchen, the fluorescent light above the sink flickering like a firefly as I stared at Sanjay's back. He was leaning against the counter, his eyes fixed on the floor, a look of guilt etched on his face like a mask. It was 3 in the morning, and he reeked of perfume. Not just any perfume, but the expensive kind I would bought for him on his birthday. My mind went numb, like I would been punched in the gut. I thought back to all the times I would supported him through medical school, sacrificing my own dreams and desires to be his rock. We'd met in college, and I was swept off my feet by his charming smile and kind heart. He'd promised me a life together, a future filled with love and laughter. But now, as I stood there, I realized it was all a lie. At first, I thought I was losing my mind. Maybe I was just being paranoid. But the more I thought about it, the more I remembered the red flags I would ignored. Like the time he accused me of cheating out of nowhere, his eyes blazing with anger. Or the way he was always extremely protective of his phone, his fingers flying across the screen with a nervous energy. And then there was his unpredictable schedule, constantly changing like the wind. I would brushed it off as him being stressed with school, but now I wondered if it was something more. Something like, another woman. My heart sank, like a stone dropping into a deep well. I felt like I was going to vomit. I took a step back, trying to process what I was seeing. That's when I noticed his phone on the counter, the screen glowing with a text message from someone named Mia. My stomach twisted into knots. "Sanjay," I said, my voice barely above a whisper. "What's going on?" He turned to face me, a mix of fear and guilt on his face. I can explain," he stuttered. But I was not having it. I walked over to his phone and picked it up, my hands shaking as I scrolled through the messages. There were dozens of texts from Mia, talking about their dates, their love, their family. Family. My mind reeled as I read the words on the screen. That's when I saw it. A picture of him with a woman and 2 kids. A family. My world crashed down around me. I felt like I had been punched in the gut again, like all the air had been sucked out of my lungs. I could not breathe. I could not think. All I could do was stand there, frozen in shock, as the truth washed over me. Sanjay had a secret family. In another state. For 2 years. I would supported him through medical school, given him my heart, my trust, my everything. And he'd been living a lie. I thought back to all the times I would doubted myself. All the times he'd made me feel like I was not good enough. But now I realized it was all a manipulation. A way to control me, to keep me in line. I was going to confront him, to make him pay for what he'd done. But first, I needed proof. I needed to know everything. I took a deep breath and began to dig, to uncover the truth. And what I found was going to change everything. I had been suspicious for weeks, ever since he'd started working on holidays he never worked before. At the time, I would thought it was just a change in his schedule, but now I wondered if it was something more. I decided to call his coworker Alex, someone I would met a few times. He answered on the first ring. "Hey, it is me," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I need to ask you something. Has Sanjay been working a lot of extra shifts lately?" There was a pause on the other end of the line. "Yeah, he has. But I think I know why." My heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean? I shouldn't be saying this, but I think he's been using company resources for personal things. I saw him using your credit card to pay for a hotel room." My world came crashing down. He was using my credit cards to pay for dates with his other family. The betrayal cut deep, like a knife to the heart. But I was not done yet. I needed more proof. And then, just as I was about to hang up, Alex said something that made my blood run cold. "I have proof," he said. "I have a picture of him with his other family." I felt a surge of adrenaline. "Send it to me," I said, my voice firm. The picture arrived a few minutes later, and it was like a punch to the gut. There he was, smiling and happy, with a woman and 2 kids. A family. I felt a wave of anger wash over me, followed by a deep sadness. I had been so blind, so trusting. But now I saw the truth, and I was going to make him pay. My father wanted to confront him physically, to teach him a lesson. But I was not interested in that. I wanted to confront him, to make him see the pain he'd caused me. I wanted to make him understand that I was not the weak, trusting woman he thought I was. I was strong. I was resilient. And I was done. It was time for Sanjay to face the consequences of his actions. And it was time for me to take back control of my life. I took a deep breath and walked back to the living room. Sanjay's eyes fixed on me. I could see the fear in his eyes, the guilt. "You're going to listen to me," I said, my voice cold and calculated. "And you are going to hear me out." He nodded, his eyes never leaving mine. "I know about Mia," I said, my voice steady. "I know about your family. And I know about the credit cards." He looked like he'd been punched in the gut, like all the air had been sucked out of his lungs. "You lied to me," I said, my voice rising. "You used me. You made me feel like I was not good enough." He opened his mouth to speak, but I cut him off. "Don't," I said. "Don't try to explain. Don't try to justify. You had your chance, and you blew it." I took a deep breath, feeling a sense of strength and empowerment wash over me. "I am done," I said, my voice firm. "I am done with you. And I am done with the lies. I am taking back my life, and I am taking back my power." He looked at me, a mix of shock and sadness on his face. But I did not care. I was free, and I was finally going to live the life I deserved. As I walked out of the room, out of the house, and out of his life, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. I was strong, I was resilient, and I was finally free,